After having lived the most mind-blowing experience of our lives, swimming with orcas and humpback whales, we thought we couldn't go any further. But the truth is, we were wrong, because we're as far north as we'll probably ever be in our lives.
Svalbard. And before you ask why we're here,
The answer is simple. We're marveling at the peculiarities of planet Earth. Well, something unique happens here. Between the months of October and March, the polar winter arrives. The days turn into endless nights, where snow covers everything, and temperatures can drop to minus 45 degrees Celsius. We flew here to understand why someone would choose to live in such a hostile environment. What is their daily life like, and what do they do to face more than 120 days without sunlight? What is it like to live completely at night? And what do they do to avoid depression in these extraordinary places? When it's 3:02 in the afternoon or at night, in a place where the sun doesn't rise, we welcome you to another video.
Yes, that's right. Here it's good evening all day long. I think we're going to be in the northernmost place of our lives.
I think so too, and it's none other than
Svalbard.
On our trip through Norway, we decided to add one more crazy adventure.
It wasn't enough to go, I think, to the most beautiful city in the world for a road trip, which is the Lofoten archipelago. It wasn't enough to swim with hundreds of orcas and humpback whales in Sirvoy. We also had to come to the land of bears.
And to experience the polar night, which is practically 24 hours of darkness. Here the sun never rises.
We're starving. We just arrived at the little town of Longyearbyen, or something like that is how you pronounce the capital. So join us as we show you what's around and what life is like in one of the most remote places on this planet.
Let's go! As a fun fact, you can walk around the village safely, but outside the village you can only walk if you're carrying a rifle. Why? Because there are too many bears, and to me that's just crazy. Here, even inside the village, you can see a lot of cars, but if you want to travel from one settlement to another, you can only do it by motorcycle, by snowmobile, boat, large boat since most are out of the water, or by plane. Why? Because there are no roads. Here I am skating. You can also skate, obviously. Of course, it makes perfect sense for the floors to be like this, so that when it snows, the snow falls down and you can get around normally. How extreme it must be to live here. If it's not an endless night, it's an endless day.
To get to Svalbard, we took a flight from Tromsø, the city from where we also departed to Sirvoy. We swam with the whales for just 2 hours. It went by quickly. I was surprised we had to get our passports stamped to leave Norway, even though we never actually left. I mean, the truth is that we're leaving the Schengen area because Svalbard, even though it's in Europe, isn't part of the Schengen area, even though it's part of the Kingdom of Norway. Again, it's not part of this free movement area that Venezuelans can access without a visa for 90 days when we enter through any of the countries. We entered through Madrid, then flew to Norway without needing to show our passport again. But to come to Svalbard, they do stamp your exit from the Schengen area, and then when you enter Svalbard, there's not even an immigration post or a checkpoint. Because anyone from this planet Earth can come to Svalbard without a visa and has an indefinite residence permit. As long as, well, they get a job, because there's no way they could live off the sun and water, especially at this time of year when there's no sun. So it's very interesting, because if you who's watching this video are unhappy with your job and you love the cold, then come to Svalbard and ask the locals here to give you a job. Try searching online instead to avoid the trip. But here there's a residence permit for everyone.
Picture a small arepa stand there.
Careful, we're going to a Mexican restaurant. That, along with a hotel, is the only international thing. Everything else is local. but I want to go there to see if there's any Latino working and be able to ask them, what's life like here? How much money do you make?
Is it worth living in such a remote place? That's what we're going to find out.
See, the rifles are a serious matter. You can have them, but you obviously can't bring them into the restaurant.
The Mexican restaurant was closed, so we went to a local one instead. Actually, what I have here is whale carpaccio, and I just couldn't pass up the chance to try it. And I think it's in the most rustic way possible. I mean, basically raw whale carpaccio. And yes, it's true that it has a little peanut on top. Here, a bit of pineapple, some cream, something like that. Let's see how it is. Look, it looks like beetroot. A little darker than beetroot, but yeah, that's how it is.
Like red wine. The moment of truth is here.
It has a pretty strong smell.
It's very different from any fish carpaccio I've ever tried.
It's a whale, not a fish. Or is it? Who knows?
It's a mammal, actually.
Exactly, it's a mammal, actually. But it doesn't look like beef carpaccio to me either, for example. It's quite salty. I don't know if carpaccio has a smoky flavor because this has a little hint of smokiness, but now let's try it with the rest of the things. I'm not such a fan. I mean, it's good, but it's not something I would eat often. I don't know if it's an acquired taste. I was actually thinking about ordering a whale fillet steak, but I said no, let's see if I like the carpaccio first, and then I'll go for a stronger, bigger dish, another preparation. But I had already tried it as sausage in the first video from Norway. I don't know if you saw it, but the sausage tasted just like any other sausage. And this didn't blow me away either, so I think this will be my last taste of whale.
Well, this is something you don't know about me, but I know how to crochet chains, which is like the foundation of crocheting. But I've only crocheted with, I don't know what it's called, like, it's not a clamp, but it's like a metal thing. Here you use two to knit. Now, to give you some context, we're in a coffee shop where all the tables are surrounded by knitting yarn, where you can sit, have your coffee and knit. I want to knit.
How interesting. Look, let me show you the place. The girls over there are knitting, and over here, it's really nice. They also have little cakes, sweets, and so on. And over there, they're preparing our coffee. And little sweaters and souvenirs too. Basically, Svalbard lives either from tourism or from scientific expeditions. So they have to have places to eat for the people who come, or souvenirs for the tourists. There used to be a coal mine here too, which was the main source of income, but they've already stopped coal mining. I don't know if it's because it ran out or because it wasn't profitable anymore compared to other minerals they've found. And there are sources of energy like oil, for example. Wow. We decided to go into the supermarket to see how similar or different it is from the rest of the world.
You have no idea how much I ran to the supermarket this morning, thinking I wouldn't find those things elsewhere. This supermarket is 10 times better.
No, but it's not just look over there, look at all that over there, and then all that over there.
I mean, it's huge.
It makes you want to shop.
Yeah, it's amazing. Plus, obviously, since it's nighttime, we feel like we have a brain clash because it's like, oh, let's go to sleep, let's relax.
Here, life goes on.
I mean, actually, I was surprised that very few restaurants open from around 2 in the afternoon until about 6 because people are working.
Obviously, there isn't really any tourism going to those places.
And most places open until around noon for lunch, and then again at 6 in the evening for dinner.
But it's hard to find places open during the Spanish siesta period, so to speak.
Nina, show us the price of the necessary things, or so people can have a reference for prices here in Svalbard.
Okay, if you're a woman, you have to use sanitary pads every month. For some overnight ones, you pay about $7.
Just so you have an idea, you have to divide everything by 10. 232, 23.2. A menstrual cup, $23. But this can be reused, right?
That's what I meant, but why are you rushing ahead? Some regular ones, 31 crowns, which would be about $3. And if you buy a cup, you pay just once, $22 or $23. I'm not sure, I think it depends on the size, and you can use them forever. I mean, I've had mine for more than 2 years.
Look here, pork is the cheapest. It costs $14, but beef, the cheapest one, costs $46.9 per kilo.
Here we have chicken at $21.4 per kilo. That little tray of 600 grams is almost $15. Olive oil is definitely cheaper here than in Caracas. Look, $9 for that half-liter bottle, over here $11, and here another one, $12. Look, this is crazy. Mango costs $6.9 per kilo, but it's on sale for $1 per kilo. Obviously, because they're about to go bad, I touched them and they're already kind of soft. But still, you can save 1 or 2 for $1 per kilo.
And kiwis, $17.5 per kilo.
It's the priciest fruit I've ever seen.
This is the hotel we chose. Actually, by mistake, we chose a hostel and not a hotel, so we have to share a bathroom. But inside, it captivated us because it has plants and it's super cozy. They're explaining to us that, like in Norway, since most of the time is spent at home, it's super important for them to have cozy spaces. And honestly, if it's really cold outside and it's all dark and it's nighttime, the best thing is to get home and feel like you're in a warm place. And the rest of the hotels, which cost almost the same as this hostel, were in very cold places, with the kind of decoration we know as Nordic. We're like that all white, gray, brown, so we didn't want that. Careful, the mistake was that we didn't know it was a hostel, but we wanted more of this kind of interior, cozy, so I'm going to show it to you. The doors here are super thick, they're really heavy, and here you have to take off your shoes, it's a rule. And you have to walk barefoot throughout the whole hostel.
Here I am with Lana. She's Russian and has been living here in Svalbard since January.
We'll do the interview in English since she said she understands Spanish, right?
Yes, a little.
She says her English is more fluent. So, Lana, why did you decide to come and live here in Svalbard?
I think you have to have a little bit of craziness to live in such a place. I wanted to try something new, something I might never experience.
Okay.
If I had not come here.
Well, you're perfect to be on our channel because our channel is called Two Crazy Travelers.
Oh,
That's literally the name of our channel.
this is a welcome for me too?
Yes. When you were thinking about crazy places to visit, what were you thinking of? Like the offers of jobs, the money, the surroundings. So what motivates you to come here?
So first of all, I'm from Siberia. And I grew up in Germany and I did not like the weather in Germany. So I wanted to have one place where I have snow, where I have ice, where I have like this cold adventure. And for the money, not really, because I'm a foreigner here. I knew that I will not become a millionaire. So that was not the motivation. The motivation was the weather, the seasons, and cold adventures like snowmobiling.
You said you arrived in January, right?
Yeah.
And how would you describe life here in this year that you've almost had already?
So I needed some time to adapt because when I came I felt like, okay, this is colder. So my body was reacting to the cold even though I'm from a cold place. And then you have the summer, which is also cold. So basically it's all about adapting to the cold. But I had so much fun. I had so much... Yeah, I work at reception. This was a new experience for me. And yeah, I would say it's a year of new beginnings in every way.
May I ask how much money a person can make a year or a month here? And how are the taxes? Because I heard that in Norway taxes could be very high, but I don't know if for foreigners here in Svalbard that applies, or how are the jobs?
Yes, so if you're a Norwegian, you can make a lot of money.
Okay, why is that?
Because they support Norwegians a lot and they would like to attract more Norwegians. I think as a foreigner you can make maybe around 30,000 krona a month.
A month, okay.
Or maybe a bit more.
That's about $300 to $3,500. Is that net, or do taxes come out of it?
From this money you have, deduct the rent, the taxes, which is 16%.
16%, okay.
So Svalbard has 16%. And yeah, and then some smaller amounts, but I'm not an expert in this.
Yeah. Okay, and how much are the living costs? Like, how much could be a rent and in food a month?
Like eating at home, of course, not in restaurants.
Not in restaurants. Yeah, I think like maybe 5,000 krona a month for groceries.
Okay.
Rent costs me $9,500.
Okay.
But this is a very good price.
Okay.
It's that I have a beautiful apartment. I was lucky.
Okay.
But it's a very good price for here.
Amazing. And what could you tell me that is the thing that you like the most about living here in Longyearbyen? That's how you pronounce...
Longyearbyen.
Longyearbyen, yeah.
I love March and April because you can drive snowmobiles in different parts. And I love the Arctic when it's covered in white fellows.
So I think we have a reason to come back in April and March.
No question, you have to.
No question, yeah.
You have to come back.
You said that's the best season in Svalbard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You have to. I will wait for you guys here.
Okay, yes, definitely. We're coming back because this place is beautiful. And now we're going to show the place to our audience. Thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure.
For the interview.
And I hope you keep doing what you like and traveling and experiencing the craziness of the world.
Thank you, likewise. Thank you.
And now, after that amazing interview, let's go see the room. Well, look, over here we have a shared bathroom.
Honestly, this one isn't very nice, but there's another one that's a bit cooler.
It's over here.
It's this one.
I like this one better.
Besides, they told us we're the only ones in this wing of the inn for now, so the shared bathroom will be private for now.
Let's hope no one else arrives in the next few days.
And here is our room. Hey, it's super big, really, really big. The tour is going to take a little while, so please be patient. No, it's not big at all. We have 2 single beds. You have to put the suitcase on top of the bed because otherwise you can't open it. Then we close it and sleep there. But well, it's fine. This really reminds me of Nepal.
Literally, it looks like when we did the hike to see the zebras, the rooms were just like this.
And well, a bear twerking here going all out.
It's a cute little bear. Well, there's a kitchen over there. Anyone staying here can cook, but we're not going to show it yet because there are people cooking. And this is the living room. How beautiful. Super cozy. Over here, there's a coffee and tea area. You can have as much coffee and tea as you want, totally free. And well, several armchairs, sofas and play areas. It's really lovely, I love it. It feels like a vintage cabin.
And if you're wondering, The night at this hostel cost us 145 euros, which is about $170, and it was the cheapest option here in Svalbard.
A similar small hotel cost around $180 to $200, but we chose this one because
Of how beautiful the common areas are.
and normally we wouldn't spend so much time at the hotel, so any place to sleep would be fine.
Since activities here last 3 or 4 hours, we'll spend the rest of the time working or enjoying the place.
We decided Mary Ann's, that's what it's called. You can look it up on Booking if you're as crazy as we are and decide to come here. After that, hotels that look nice jumped to $500 or $600 a night.
And since we decided to come for 4 days and 3 nights, it was too much money just for the stay.
So we went for something good, nice, and cheap. Now we came to have dinner at the hotel restaurant, which you have to book in advance.
There are a lot of people. I'm doing my thing. These are real plants. Here we have a monstera. Over here we have a ficus. Over here we have the lucky one, a cactus.
Check what's cool. At the entrance, you remove your shoes, but they provide slippers.
Here the menu is
Arctic.
Svalbarian? Tell us a little bit, what about main courses?
Well, we have beef, then we have reindeer steak, and then we have seal steak. Then we have whale steak, and then we have salmon, which is like another regular dish, and a vegan option.
What are you going to order?
Cheese. It's just that I already had meat for lunch, and I'm not a big fan of salmon, and I don't want to eat reindeer, whale, or seal either. I'll just order a starter since we ate recently. A starter and maybe a dessert, maybe.
I didn't want to try more exotic animals, but they just brought us some seal pate. That's pretty interesting.
The girl at the reception, Lana, told me that seal tastes like liver, and that if I liked liver, I don't like liver, so I decided not to even try it.
But here they brought us, as a courtesy, like a little cracker, some seal pate and pickled onions.
The meat is quite dark. It looks like whale meat.
Let's see how it tastes.
I mean, hold on. Everything that's in this little cookie, I'm going to have to eat the other one because Ninita already jumped off the boat. It has like a little white cream here, which is really good, and the pickled onions. And this green thing, I don't know if it's rosemary, but it's really good. It gives it a nice touch. But actually, it tastes like when you try liver, your tongue feels, I don't know if it's kind of dry or has a greasy texture. And your palate feels like that. I can't explain it, but if you've tried liver, you know what I mean. That's how this feels.
Honestly, I'm not such a fan. As a whole, it tastes good, but after all the good flavors pass, you're left with that aftertaste of, yeah, like liver.
Good evening in the morning. It's 8:18.
In the early morning, in the morning, at night. I don't know, we just woke up. At 9:30 they're coming to pick us up to go for a hike in nature, and we're going to have breakfast.
Of course, eternal night in Svalbard.
Good thing we brought vitamin D pills, because I don't know how people here could cope without the blessed sunlight. But well, since the breakfast building is just 20 meters away, you go out like this, even if you might not believe it.
Look at what the temperature is.
It's snowing, you know?
Right now we're at -4, nice and calm. Tomorrow it'll get down to -11. Let's go. This is the breakfast area of our little hostel, which at least includes breakfast. Wow, look, some batter and a waffle maker. That looks amazing right there. Jams and everything. Over here there are sauteed vegetables and grains. Over here there are some fruits and yogurt and more veggies.
Over here, there are cheeses. For anyone who missed the first Norway video, this brown cheese tastes like caramel spread.
Can you guys believe that? If not, check out that video for more details.
A little butter, bread. Oh, that's delicious. Banana cake, and over here, eggs in different styles.
And to finish, sausage and bacon.
And this is our first activity here in Svalbard, taking a walk in nature to see animals. We've already seen reindeer and we're crossing our fingers to see foxes. They told us that it's a bit difficult to see polar bears, especially at this time of year, but well, who knows, maybe nature will help us. They also told us that you can see belugas along the shore. It's not common, but again, who knows. Nature is unpredictable, and I'm always asking it to give us unforgettable moments so we can document them and show them to you.
Here's Sebastian. He's going to be our guide. This feels like a real expedition.
Look, it's also snowing. It's about -5 degrees right now, and we're walking in the middle of nowhere.
As you can see, here we have a dead Svalbard reindeer. And you won't believe the cause. This reindeer died of hunger. Literally, they die of hunger because of global warming. During the coldest winter months, like January or February, there are usually high temperature spikes.
During those dates, it's usually between -15 and -20 degrees.
But suddenly there are days when the temperature rises up to 0 degrees or 1 degree Celsius, which means that the snow freezes and turns into ice. So they, who dig through the snow to look for their food underneath, it could be plants or whatever is at the bottom of the snow, can't do it.
Because since there's such a hard layer of ice, with their beaks, well, with their mouths actually, they start trying to break the ice and they break their teeth. Their nerves are exposed and then they can't eat very well.
Then the stomach starts needing food and it begins to eat the body from the inside. It's a very painful death for them. And year after year, the number of reindeer found dead has been increasing. Last year it was 200 and something, and this year between 350 and 360.
Almost double what it was last year.
Another interesting fact is that the snow foxes around here don't usually hunt reindeer, but instead eat birds. But when they find these delicacies dead and available, they obviously eat them. So our guide is telling us that the foxes that have been seen recently are stronger, they're bigger. So it's expected that this year they'll have many more offspring, and next year, well, there will be a large number of foxes around the area.
To check the theory, you can see here the jaw where there are no teeth. And our guide was telling us that it was precisely because of that. Because when they try to dig through the layers of ice that form during snowy seasons, all their teeth break and then they're left without their main tool to look for food.
Hey, I'm fascinated by the snowfall we're getting. Walking in the middle of nowhere while snow is falling on you, everything is dark. It's just so unreal. I want to tell you that right inside that mountain there's a coal mine. Well, actually there are several coal mines all throughout Svalbard. There are two interesting things. The first is over there. I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. It's a pipe, a duct where air comes in because when they extract the coal they release a lot of gas, and this gas is flammable. So in order for them to be able to breathe and to prevent explosions, they have that pipe. And this other one you see here, which is huge, was where they took out the waste, the rocks that were useless to them. They left them back here. And in fact, there's a whole mountain made out of waste. Starting in June of this year, coal mining was banned throughout the entire island. But that was supposed to be done 2 or 3 years ago. They had to postpone it because of the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine. But finally, there are no more mines here in Svalbard.
As part of the excursion, they bring us to a viewpoint with a mat there to sit on, a hot drink.
And quite a view.
Being here is already living remotely. I mean, already, it's crazy how far this is from the rest of the world. But being here, which is already remote in itself, and having a little house over there, brother, that's a hermit.
Wow, I hadn't seen it.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Sebastian, can you tell me a little bit about you, your story? How did you end up in Svalbard?
Sure, I was born and raised in Poland. Then, as a teenager, I moved to the southern part of Norway, where I lived for about 12 years. And then I moved up here 5 years ago. It was a very random decision. I was visiting my friend from Poland as well, but I knew her from Norway. And once I was here, I basically straight away resigned my job on the mainland and then took a short vacation and moved up here in January. So soon it will be an anniversary.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
It was easy to find a job?
Well, at the time I worked in hospitality, so I got my job pretty straightforward because I had a good curriculum vitae, good experience. After moving here, I realized I want to be a guide.
Okay.
So I started all the trainings and stuff. I could do it faster, but it took me about a year, maybe a year and a half. Because I also am volunteering as a rescue team member in Red Cross.
Wow.
Yeah, this training also lasted 9 months.
Okay.
That was like kind of a side that also helped me to get the job as a guide. When I started guiding, it felt like a dream job. This is my office. I can be outside with the people, which I love. I can talk, and I like to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the perfect combination.
How can you describe to me the life here in Svalbard? Maybe for a person who hasn't seen anything about this island?
Yeah, so it depends what you do as well. Because, of course, if you're a guide, you have to know everything.
Yeah.
But let's say you come here to work in hospitality or like an office job, it's different.
Of course.
You know, it's a small community that helps because people are helpful. If you have any questions or you are in trouble, they always help you. But also it's tough with the weather, with the remoteness as well. That causes another problem, like deliveries, or like they are not always, like the grocery store is not always equipped with everything. But, you know, the entertainment we have is also limited. Like, yeah, you have to put your priorities a little bit differently. If you are here for nature, it will be easier, but if you're here, let's say, as many people are, to make money, it will be harder. Absolutely.
Speaking briefly about making money, do you truly think that people who are not passionate about nature, also you, but not specifically people who are travel guides, like working in hospitality or office, are making good money?
How much money do you think that they can make and they can keep after paying like rent, taxes?
So, just to give you an example of a waiter.
Yeah.
So we have salaries close to the mainland of Norway, which is probably 25,000 Norwegian kroner that you get on hand, because we only pay a 16% income tax.
Okay.
Regardless of how much you earn, it's 16%. If you earn over 1 million kroner a year, you'll pay 22%, but that's still low. Compared to Norway, when I left, I was paying almost 50%, about 47%.
Wow.
So that saves you a lot of money. Then entertainment is limited, so you don't spend so much, I don't know, on the cinemas or traveling because everything is closed. If you have a car or a snowmobile, the gas is cheaper because we also have lower taxes on it. On another thing, if you party a lot, the cigarettes snooze, you know, the poster?
Yeah, I know.
Alcohol isn't tax-free either, but it's taxed less, making it about half the price of the mainland.
I heard alcohol is restricted for residents. Is that true?
That's right. It dates back to the miners' era. It's basically the miners were drinking a lot of beers and strong alcohol.
Yeah.
So it was limited for them, and like people in administration, they usually had like wine, so it was not limited for them. Even now you can buy unlimited wine.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can buy 24 beers and 1 liter of stronger alcohol per month.
What, per month?
Yes?
24 beers and 1 liter?
Yeah.
What? How much wine do you want?
Yes, but that's only for the legal store. At bars or restaurants, you can drink as much as you want.
Okay, so if you have money, you can drink as much as you want.
At the bar, in the Bar of Colors, of course, but if you want to buy in a liquor store, then it's limited. To buy something, you need an alcohol card.
Okay, of course.
You get it only if you're a tax resident. So you have to be here for like 6 months first, and then you can apply for the card, and then you can buy the alcohol.
And I also read that there are limits or requirements for anyone to stay as a resident here. Is that true?
That's true. I'm not sure about every country, but most countries in the world. You can come here and work without any visa, any permission, nothing. If you have a job, then you can stay.
Okay.
Just one requirement, a job and a place to stay.
Of course, of course.
It's hard to get accommodation on your own. So most of the jobs, they will provide you with the apartment or with the sharing room apartment, whatever. I had the situation, I had to move out from my previous apartment. It was right before the high season, so I was looking for an apartment for 3 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. And Sebastian, well, from those 2,500 you say you get after taxes and everything, how much do you think people would spend on rent and food?
Okay, I will just... If you don't get crazy with going out or whatever, spending money, you can probably put down like $1,000. Like 10,000 kroner, I would say.
So?
It's pretty one person.
You will save $1,500 a month.
Yeah, if you want to save. Absolutely. It's a lot of money you can earn.
Yeah, that's about $18,000 you can save in a year if you're pretty disciplined. Because honestly, since it's a place without much entertainment, I think people are more likely to go a little crazy. They limited the alcohol for that reason. I listened to a lot of music yesterday. Are there any good party spots nearby?
We don't have parties.
You don't have parties.
No, we have, let's say, 3 bars. 2 of them are places to gather. And sometimes we have the parties in the bars, like you have a disc jockey night or something, like on Halloween.
Okay.
There was a big party. It was like, I think, one of the biggest parties of the year. People are like putting the costumes on and like it's super nice and it's always like full.
But there are not like weekend clubs or something. Because yesterday... So, Sebastian, now getting a little bit into the wild. I have read a lot about polar bears here. That this is their land and everything. I think that what you have there in your backpack is a gun.
Yeah, that's correct. I just don't want to take it out because we are not allowed to.
That's perfect in case of an emergency.
First aid kit.
Yeah, good.
Inside here you have a gun, like a rifle. Then you have this trigger here. You can pull it out while wearing it, then remove the rifle for use with your backpack on.
Okay.
So it's half loaded with bullets in, so it's ready to use. Then I also have this orange pouch with a flare gun. It's the same thing you use on the boat.
Yeah, with the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's mainly the sound, as the noise when it blows bothers polar bears.
And are there many, or have you heard about recent accidents with the polar bears?
Yeah, absolutely. There is always something.
Okay.
Like we were talking before, there were 2 workers from the museum here. They were repairing a cabin farther north near Ny-Ålesund, and they were approached by quite a big male which was quite aggressive, and they had no chance to scare it away. So they tried everything, and in the end they had to kill it because they were in danger of life.
Okay.
So there's always this proper investigation after something happens to the polar bear, and the people involved, they always suspect.
Of course.
So then you have to prove as a person that was like in this situation that you did everything you could to scare away the polar bear. That your papers are in place, that your training's in place. And yeah, if something is wrong that you could avoid, then you will get fined. Probably around 40,000 Norwegian kroner.
Wow.
It's not cheap.
Because I read that it's mandatory to use a gun when you're going out of town, but no one can just buy a gun.
They need a license or training.
So it's not mandatory. It's like you can go out of town without anything. Nobody will stop you. Nobody will tell you anything. But when something happens with the polar bear and you're not prepared and a polar bear attacks you, and let's say someone else who is nearby will kill the polar bear because you are in danger, this is your problem.
Of course.
It's your fault. So you have to be prepared for a possible approach. Be ready to do everything possible to scare the polar bear away.
And as part of the tour, we're going to go to a store that's a little closer to the town. We're going to have lunch while we light a little fire and stay warm. Yes, like a tent. We're going to eat these dehydrated meals. I think it's the second time I've had them. The first time was at Angel Falls, when we did the rappelling at Angel Falls. I ordered a bolognese pasta and Emmanuel ordered a stewed beef, but they also had a vegetarian option. That's crazy. I mean, I can't believe there's a plate of food in here.
Basically, all they do is add hot water so it rehydrates and then seal the package. Well, they shake it a little.
I love that it's more real.
I suspect I might burn myself trying the pasta, but it seems to be ready.
That looks delicious.
It's amazing. It's really good.
After this delicious meal, some little chocolates for dessert, and now with the warmth of this fireplace.
I want to ask Sebastian one more question. I want to talk a little bit about darkness here in Svalbard. I know you have polar night for around 100 nights. And you told me off camera
That it's actually bright now, even though I think it's very dark. It's bright, right? It can be dark.
Sure, in around 2 weeks it will be pitch dark. So regardless if you go out at 8 a.m. or 12 in the middle of the day, at noon it will be dark, like in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Fully dark for 24 hours.
For 24 hours over 2 months?
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it. There are a lot of people who like it because, you know, it's a Christmas styling feeling for... I like Christmas, but not that much. I don't really buy into it.
Of course, of course.
No, but it's tiring. You have to be physically active and you have a kind of, maybe like a kind of plan of the day. If you stay home, you'll just sleep all the time.
You don't feel depressed or...
Absolutely, you can. Physical activity is important. That's the plan for today. We supply vitamin D, which is not only important, but it's something you have to do because you can be...
It's kind of mandatory.
Yeah, you can get very sick if you don't. Also, as I mentioned, we have this, for example, wake-up lamps are lights you can keep by your bed. You set up the time and it will light your room up right before your alarm goes off. So you kind of wake up with the brightness of the day.
Wow.
And also we have lamps that you can hold in your hand and just light your face around. That also imitates the sun.
Okay.
It's kind of like a solarium, but it's not giving you a tan, it's just the brightness.
A little bit?
Yeah.
So during the darkness, you must stay aware of everything you do, or else you might be depressed or...
Yeah, like most of the people, like most of the locals who can leave the island. Maybe not for the whole season, but for some time, you know, just to travel to families, just to catch some daylight down on mainland or whatever. Just go to a hotter country in Europe, you know.
And during the dark season, it's also the low season for tourism.
Yes, it's lower, however. It's growing up. Each year more visitors come during the dark season because, you know, the island is being promoted as Northern Lights, Christmas coziness, ice caving, for example.
Sebas, to finish, what is the thing that you like the most about living here in Svalbard? And what is the thing that you hate the most, or what would you change if you could?
All right, that's a nice question. Like how nature is close to you. If you leave your apartment or hotel, you might see reindeer or sometimes a fox in town. It's always quiet. You just go out from the town and you have these mountains around, and every day is different with the lighting. It's so remote. So I think that's the thing that keeps me here the most. Well, what would I change? So I have only two things I miss, which are forests.
Okay.
And motorbike. Maybe if we could have cats, that would be also nice.
Okay.
Because I don't know if,
I read that cats are forbidden, right?
Yes, because all the birds you have are protected, and the only predator of the birds is the polar fox, so cats are not allowed here.
There are no natives here because there is a rule that you can't be born or die in Svalbard.
Being born because the hospital is not so well prepared in case of an emergency. So, 2 months before giving birth, women are moved to the mainland. And regarding death, there's something called permafrost, which is basically a compound word between perma, meaning permanent, and frost, meaning frozen or ice. So the ground is always frozen, even in summer. And with new snowfalls and winters, it tends to raise everything up. So if you bury a body, first of all, it's never going to decompose, and secondly, it's going to keep rising a little more each time. So eventually, it will end up above ground. That was years ago, in the 70s, if I recall, when they banned it. And the last person who died here was in 2013, and he was a writer who had been here for many years.
And they let him be buried here, but only after cremating him. So basically what they buried were his ashes.
But in the same way, if you are very sick or if you die, they move your body to the mainland so you can be buried there and not become a victim of the permafrost and end up frozen out here for the rest of, the lives of others, because your life is already over, right?
Okay, thank you very much, Sebas, for all the information, both on camera and off camera. You're an amazing, amazing guide. And I hope you're watching this video, and if you come to Svalbard, travel with Snowfox. We chose this company and it's really, really nice, especially if Sebas is your guide.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friend.
Travelers, we were lucky that our guide, who is really awesome, decided to bring us to the seed bank. Because even if you think otherwise, this is it. This is all there is to do here. Just take a picture outside.
And the tour, if you want to come and see it, costs $125 per person.
That is, we were going to pay $250 for Valeria and me, and we definitely decided not to do it.
But since it was on the way with a detour that wasn't too long, on the way to the nature walk tour we did today, he said, well, if you want, I'll take you.
And honestly, he's really awesome.
Honestly, I recommend that if you come, don't just pay for this tour to visit the seed bank, but do one out in nature.
Hopefully you can tell the guide who will take a detour and bring you here. But just so you have an idea, this was created
in case of an alien invasion, in case of a zombie apocalypse, or the most likely and realistic in case of a third world war. Here there are more than 7,500 species of different seeds, like rice, wheat, vegetables, and so on. But there are almost 500 units of each one. That's why online searches claim there are millions or billions of seeds, but that's because there's a large quantity of each species, and the temperature inside is minus 18 degrees.
And in case the electricity stops working,
because of the permafrost I mentioned earlier, the temperature would stay at minus 2 degrees, and then it would take more than 100 years to go from minus 2 to 0 degrees. And well, for the seeds to melt and get damaged. So really it's a very, very good way to safeguard the seeds. And the nice thing is that only during the dark season do they turn on those lights you see there, which are meant to resemble the northern lights.
But you'll only be able to see that between November and February. If you come any other time of the year,
it's daytime. I mean, there's light, so you can't see these beautiful lights. So that's all there is to do here.
So let's continue.
Two in the afternoon, and it's still just as dark.
We came back from that trip, and now we'll just enjoy the hostel where we're staying.
Honestly, The common areas are really, really nice. And let me ask you, would you come live in this place for the salaries you've already heard about?
Around $3,000, $3,500 a month, saving about $1,500 after expenses and taxes.
Of course, going through all the challenges of the weather, not just the temperature, but also having almost 4 months of complete darkness, then another 3 or 4 months of complete daylight, meaning no darkness at all.
That's crazy.
I wouldn't do it, but I want to know your opinion. Let me know down here in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like.
See you in a couple of days with a new video.